Greetings, the Astro 30 here yet again, and what I've got sitting on the desk here is a Miller and Kreisel VX-7B powered subwoofer. Now this is mine. I purchased it yesterday off my housemate, and he got it from the South Hobart tip shop on the weekend. He paid $50 for it, I also paid $50 for it. And it says base level pot needs attention, otherwise okay. So we just pull off this little baffle cover to reveal a Discover Deep Bass Miller and Kreisel Sound Corporation speaker driver. That's about an 8-inch, I reckon. And I have heard this works, I know it does, but the cabinet itself is really well made. It's made out of really heavy MDF, I assume, or it might be chipboard. It's hard to tell. It's got a few little blemishes around the corners and stuff where it's worn. Let's turn it around and have a look at what's on the back. There's a look at the back panel, and there's no feet or anything on the bottom of the cabinet, which is annoying. We've got the low pass filter pot, or the crossover frequency pot. We've got a left mono and a right input from the preamp. That's the base level pot they're talking about. This will basically just be a volume control really more than anything else. Decent size heatsink on it. I'm assuming this is a Class AB. We've got some speaker terminals in from the amplifier, so from the front speakers, and a output speaker terminal which says speaker level high pass filter, so I don't know if there's like a passive filter in there between it, and the power cord, which has got crap around it, and a line fuse which is only rated at 630 milliamps, which is kind of small, but anyway. And made in the good old US of A, baby. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it back around and plug it in. Now the only drawback with this is there's no power switch on here, so you can't actually turn it off. So when it's plugged into the wall, it's turned on the whole entire time. I also don't think there's an automatic off, so that it turns the subwoofer off after a period of time. And there's a bit of a thump there when you first power it up, so there's no relays or anything in there, which is interesting design. However, only being a 630 milliamp fuse, I don't think it draws that much current. I also don't think it produces that much power, but I'll turn it around, plug it in, and yeah, I'll demonstrate the fault. All I've got to do is just rotate this pot. Alright, so power plug. Hear that thump there? So let me get the right pot, which is this one here. See the problem? The pot is noisy. Okay, so I might just unplug that. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to pull the chassis out of it, and we're going to have a good look at how it's constructed, and I want to see how I'm going to get to that pot. Interesting. They use machine screws, like ones the nut goes onto, and it looks like there was some form of Loctite here on the end of the thread. So it must have like inset captive nuts in the woodwork. Very interesting. Let's see if this will come out. Ah, yes. Some wadding. And there's 4 screws over here, which is where the E-core, yes it's an E-core, EL-core transformer lives. I just don't like the fact that there is all this wadding right near a mains transformer. I want to hope that all those wires are insulated. They feel like they are. There's a big plug here, one of them goes to the driver, and the other I think is the secondary windings from the transformer, and this stuff does not disconnect. However, the layout of the main PCB is very, very neat. It's a lot a lot different looking than the Chinese subwoofers that you see. A little circuit glue everywhere. And these look like they use decent caps as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unscrew this shield out the way so I can get to, well, it looks like I can get to the pots relatively easy. There's a better look. We've got all the preamplification and filter circuitry here. And there's the pot in question that I've got to deal with. It's just a standard 16mm pot, although it's at a strange angle. But I don't actually have any proper switch cleaner at the moment, so I wonder if I can just like squirt some isopropyl alcohol down there and, you know, work the pot in and get it clean that way. I'll try it. Gotta actually be careful with this stuff too. I don't know if I've got any in there. Just going to work the pot backwards and forwards. I do think I got some in there. Alright. So let me just clean up all the excess circuit board cleaner spray. If this doesn't work, I'll get hold of some proper cleaner this afternoon. So I'm just going to plug him in and see if I've made a difference. Well, indeed I have. Cool. And it's still working. That's probably got to be the easiest fix that I've ever come across. It's just a dirty pot. Now it's nice and clean, and it's not making an erratic sound. So yeah, I might give the low pass filter pot a bit of a spritz as well, and then I'll put it back together. Right, that's done. The construction of this is really good. I mean, check it out. But I don't like the fact that the input wiring is unshielded, but yeah, okay. You don't want to use too much of that IPA stuff because yeah, it does go everywhere. Because it did have a nozzle on it, but I lost it. As soon as I bought the can, I tried to put the nozzle on, and it disappeared over the edge of the balcony. So yeah, I never saw that again. So I'll just put these two retaining screws back into this shielding. I don't need to do anything else in here. It does work. So that was actually easy. I was hoping it was going to be easy because some subwoofers use those pots that are mounted to a PCB which are soldered to the RCA sockets, etc., and it's a real bastard to remove them. So I'm glad of the fact that that was all open. So yeah, very nice. I could modify this and put a power switch on it, but for now I'm just going to leave it as is because I don't really want to modify it too much, because that's not what this is about. This was only about fixing it so it didn't make any noise when you rotated the pot. So that's done now. So now I'll put the 8 screws back in and then we'll test him out. I am actually curious as to the fuse that they're using in here, whether it's actually the correct one for this. I'll just pull the fuse out. And it's an M205, which is fine, and it's a slow blow. You can sort of tell that it's a slow blow by the fact that it's a very thick wire in there. It also says T630MA on the printing there. And according to what I just read, yes, it is a 630MA, so it's the correct size fuse. So that means I can put this back in its little home. I actually like this style of fuse holder a lot better than some of them. Alright, I'm ready to test this thing now. I've got the computer hooked up to it with an online tone generator, and I will plug in the subwoofer. The level control is all the way down. That seems alright. the crossover pot seems to do what it's supposed to. Okay. I'll change my frequency to something else, 60. Yeah, that's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So I'll just sweep it around. Yeah, it's really vibrating through the desk. Alright, the driver seems okay. So what I might do is I might go for a quick smoke, and when we come back I'll actually play a track from the YouTube audio library through it and see how well it performs and playing with some controls and stuff. Alright, typical Tasmania, it's pissing with rain outside. Okay, so I've got a track lined up, let's play it. That's the crossover. I mean, it's rattling everything on the desk too. Well, it works. I'd have to set it up with the speakers that I've got in the corner and do a proper sound test, and then adjust, you know, the bass level and the crossover point to suit the room and the speakers that are connected to it, etc. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull off all the labels that are stuck to it, clean it up, and then we're going to close this one out. So there it is there, the stickers removed and the cabinet cleaned up as best as possible. I was going to remove the driver to see if I could disconnect it to do a power test, but the driver doesn't want to seem to come out, so I'm not going to force it in case I damage something. I'd probably have to do it from the back and pull the wadding out to see if I can disconnect the driver that way. It could very well be soldered, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to put this thing at probably around the 60 to 70 watt mark. I'm not going to say it's going to be any more powerful than that. Considering the size of the mains fuse we've got there, the physical size of the transformer, which is not very big. It's probably about, I don't know, 90 mil square, something like that. So it's probably only going to be like a 2 amp secondary. Who knows? I didn't really take much notice when I was inside of it what the output stage was like, but so yeah, anyway, so now I've just got to get some more speaker cables so I can hook it up to my system and really get this thing working. The only thing missing on this is a badge on the front of the grill cover to say who made it, but well, maybe Americans don't like advertising themselves too much. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to go down below, like, comment and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And this is the Astro 3 saying see ya, have a great day.